Alright guys, in this video I want to show you how I start my seedlings. Alright, the way I like to prepare my soil is I like to use peat moss, compost, vermiculite, and cow manure. Also, I'm going to add in, mix it in some worm castings. Worm castings is wonderful. It's 10 times more powerful than cow manure. It's very powerful, very potent, and you don't need a lot. You just need to sprinkle it in. But we're going to prepare the soil now and start our seedling trays. All right, what I usually do, I'll take one part of each here, mix it in a wheelbarrow, and then what I do is I put them into these seedling starter trays. Again, you can pick these up at Home Depot. It doesn't have to be this particular brand, but this is the type you should get just to start your seeds. Or the little bit, they have the bigger ones also. But I like these because I want to do a lot of vegetables. The nice thing about these is what I like is, okay, you get your tray, then you get the bottom tray to hold all the water that goes through, and you also get a cover, which is very cool. A cover will go right on top of here, and that'll hold the moisture in. All right. So, anyways, let's get the soil prepared and get that all mixed up, and then we'll fill these up. All right, guys. The first thing I do is the compost here is I sift it. Because, as you know, when you buy these big bags, it's full of wood chips, basically. You know, a lot of big wood chips. So I sift it out. I use a 1/4-inch screen, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. I sift that all out, and the stuff that's, all the wood chips that's left over, I'll just throw that in my garden, and that'll decompose. The vermiculite, also, I picked up at Home Depot. Make sure it's OMRI listed. That's Organic Materials Review Institute, and that means it's certified for organic use. I couldn't find any organic cow manure, but this stuff has a Mulch and Soil Council certificate for amendments for soil. What does that mean exactly? You know, I don't know, but they say it's good for amending soils. But if you can pick it up organic, do it organic. And the peat moss also at Home Depot I picked up here. I think this is like 10 bucks, somewhere around there. Alright guys, what I'm doing here is I'm sifting the compost. You can buy these compost bags at the big box stores. And the reason why I'm sifting them is to get all these little sticks and twigs out of there and get it more refined. So I'm using, this is my worm casting sifter right here that I'm using, but I'm just going to do it by hand here, and it falls through the screen into a box I have underneath there, and all the sticks and twigs fall into another box over here, through here. So basically I'm just pushing it through by hand like that. So if you can get yourself a screen like this is a 1/4-inch screen. It'll let all the nice fine stuff go through, and all the sticks and twigs, all the big stuff will be gone. And it'll be much better for your seedlings too. You don't have the big sticks in there. And I'll show you what that looks like at the end here. So if we go under here, that's much better. It's much smaller and much finer. And it's great for seedlings. Alright, what you're left with is a bunch of sticks here and big chips. Okay, and this is not good for when you're doing seedlings. You want that fine stuff. But this stuff here, we're going to use for our garden. We're just going to throw it in our garden, and it'll work perfect out there. Alright, so here you can obviously see the difference So this here is much finer. And you got, in here I got all the twigs and chips and all that big stuff out. Like I said, this is gonna go in my garden. Nothing goes to waste. And this here is gonna go for the seedlings. All right, now we're gonna mix these all together. I'm gonna use this paint container here. So I'm gonna get one part of each, and then I'm gonna throw in like a handful of worm castings. So now this stuff is very dusty, so be careful for that. The peat moss, it's very dry and dusty. Now for the compost, I'm going to use the stuff that I sifted. So I'm going to get one of those. Vermiculite, I'm going to use that too. Okay, and then I have worm castings here. These worm castings I made myself last year. I had worms, and these are the buckets I actually grew the worms in, harvested the castings. So, and if you've never seen worm castings before, you can buy them online. Just go online and Google worm castings. It's just their poop, basically. And the cool thing about it is it doesn't smell like anything. It just smells like fresh earth. And it's wonderful stuff. And I've had this stuff sitting for over a year in a metal container. There's no mold growing in there, nothing. It's just like the day I put it in here. That's because it's got a lot of bacteria, and that bacteria is beneficial for the soil. Okay? So we're going to get a handful of that and just work it in. And the reason for it is that you need much more. Is very powerful stuff. Okay, and you don't really need a lot of it. And see, I have to put in the manure in here still. So we're going to put some manure. And we're going to get one part of that also. And one part cow manure. Now we'll mix this all together. I'll take you in for a close-up. See how that's really nice? It's nice and fluffy, good for the root system. It's got all that organic material that'll hold all that moisture, especially the vermiculite that'll hold a lot of moisture. You don't have to constantly water it. Now what you're going to do is get your seedling tray and fill it up. And I'm going to do this to the rest of them. I have about, let's see, I bought 12. I got 12. I got about 18 or 20 of these things I got to fill up. All right, if you're like me and you have a really big garden, and you got a lot of these trays to fill out, or even, you know, if you got a really good sized garden in your home, it's nice to pick up some of these plastic shelving like this at Home Depot. And I can fit 3 of these perfectly in here. So yeah, that's a good way to do it, because I remember I had them in my old house. I had them spread out on the floor, and it was taking up a lot of room. But with this, you can start this in your house, put it, you know, somewhere on a corner, in a wall somewhere. But you can put 3, 6, 9, 12 trays, and even in the top, I guess you can use it too. And the cool thing about these shelves here, if you wanted to, and I'm thinking about doing this, you can put a fluorescent light in here, okay, to shine, or any kind of light, whatever you know, a grow light or whatever, to shine down on each plant. All right, so this is how your seedling tray should look like. Now we're ready to start putting our seeds in. All right, we're going to be planting some rapini. And if you're not familiar with rapini, they are absolutely delicious. It is a leafy green. See if I can get a picture of it right there. They're called broccoli rabe, but in Italy we call them rapini. And they have a bitter, kind of a bitter taste to it. I know it sounds terrible, but it's delicious. And they call it broccoli rabe because it's got little broccoli heads on them. And the leaf and those broccoli flowerets, or whatever you call them, you cut those up, you saute them with some garlic and olive oil, and it's just out of this world, just out of this world. This is like my most favorite leafy green in the world. Okay, so anyway, this is what we're going to plant. All right. The thing about broccoli rabe is the seeds are extremely, extremely tiny. In fact, they look like poppy seeds that you find on your bread. The problem with these seeds, if you plant them outside and not indoors first, is the ants can carry them away. So it's better to start them. It's better to start them indoors and get a head start. That way the ants don't carry the seeds away. And if you're in Texas, especially east and southeast Texas here, the fire ants are just out of control. And I gotta make another video about that too, about controlling those things. Anyways, these are very, very small seeds, and we're gonna plant probably 2 or 3 per cell in the tray. So all I'm doing, I'll just pinch probably 2 or 3. I got 3 here, and they're almost impossible to see, but just drop them in there, and then get a mark or a pencil or something, and just push the seeds down a little bit, and then get some extra dirt, potting soil I should say, and just cover them up lightly. Lightly tap it down, and you do that to all of them. Okay, now I put all the seeds in. I put a little bit of the soil on top, and I packed it down a little bit, just a little bit. And now we're ready to water them. So now get yourself a squirt bottle. Put some water in there, and water everything down really good. Just soak the top. It'll soak in, because remember, this stuff is dry, especially that peat moss. It's very dry. And I like using a squirt bottle because you really don't need a whole lot of water. And it'll soak in. It'll absorb it all. You probably have to do it again afterwards, once it absorbs. Remember, you're just keeping the seeds wet right now. And just do that, I don't know, probably every day. It's a little squirt like this. and it'll keep soaking down farther, deeper and deeper into the cell. Or you could just kind of give it a good watering and just get everything wet. That'll work too. But right now we're just moistening up the seeds. The seeds are right near the surface. And that vermiculite and the peat moss itself will retain water. It'll hold it. All right, once everything's watered, we'll put the cover on it like this, and it'll hold the moisture from evaporating. And hopefully in about 2 weeks we'll have some rapini. That's how long they take to germinate, anywhere between 10 and 21 days. All right guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.